Well, good morning. I'm Kim Bishop from Brownsville, Haywood County, Tennessee. We are talking with many of our neighbors that have moved here and many neighbors that have lived here for a long time. Today we're meeting with Mr. Fitzgerald Mann.
Hey.
Mr. Fitzgerald, tell me a little bit about yourself.
I am retired military, born and raised here in Haywood County, graduated in 1988, left for college and then joined the military. Ended up spending about 29 years in the military and decided to move back home.
So what made you move back home?
Primarily it was my parents. They're getting older and I want to be around because I was gone a lot growing up, but they were the driving force for me coming back home.
Okay, so we've talked about in many of our interviews about the resources that people are using. Most of the time it's friends that bring them here or it's family that's already lived here before.
Yes, and it was kind of good for me because I have a brother and a sister that live here in town outside of my parents. My oldest brother lives in Memphis, so it was kind of coming back home, in which I hadn't had that opportunity to just be around a lot of my family in my military career. And so coming back home made that easier, and plus it allowed me some time to spend with my young niece and just to reacquaint myself with home. You know, I like the environment of a small town.
Yes.
And I've always lived in mid-sized cities like I've lived in D.C., I've lived in Clarksville, Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina, and Dallas, Texas. So that's where I've typically lived, but I like the small town feel.
That's what I was going to ask you. You've had different opportunities to live in bigger cities. My husband's in the military. We had the same options to live in bigger cities. This is my hometown. Brad and I have been here. Well, I've been here since I was born, so I've been here all of my life. Well, if you had somebody to come in, I know your resources were Brownsville. If you had somebody that was thinking about moving to Brownsville, what kind of resources would you ask them to use?
Well, first I would ask them to reach out to the chamber because they're the source of a lot of information. But then to reach out to some of the local realtors and stuff in the town to kind of figure out what they're looking for, what they want, and if they have family and friends, that's also another good resource. But then to come and look at it for themselves.
Yes.
I had the benefit of having lived here, and I was back a couple of times a year, so it was not hard for me to say, okay, I know kind of where I want to live, I know kind of what type of house I'm looking for. So for me, it was a lot easier, and my hard job was just to find a good realtor that understood what I wanted and how and what I was looking for, and to get it to me in the time frame that I was looking.
And if you're looking to move to Brownsville, one thing we would say, Mr. Fitzgerald, is the fact that our realtors do a good job. They're not just in touch with people in Brownsville. With social media being so big these days, they know how to put our houses out there. And right now in our today's market, our economy in Brownsville with real estate is booming.
That is correct. And so when I bought my home, it was not even on the market. I was looking at a house across the street, and I was like, I like that house right there. And my realtor called the owners, and they allowed us to come over and walk through, and I was like, I want to buy your house. And 2 months later, I was in the house.
Isn't that great? That's great. Well, if there was one thing that you could change about Haywood County and Brownsville, Tennessee, is there anything you would change?
Yes, just one big thing. We have to have better growth with the economy, but that has to do with internet, hospital. And you know, the hospital is supposed to be opening in October. I'm looking forward to that. But we have to have the other services that go along, the internet and some other businesses that makes the economy grow, that attracts more people.
That's great. So broadband service is very important in our communities. Well, thank you so much for your interview today. We hope we get some neighbors and friends that will come meet us in Brownsville, Tennessee. We're happy, and it's happening.